Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Anita, and I'm coming at you today with a review of my August currently inked pens. Let's hop into it. Hey, y'all. So it's been a busy month, busier than usual, but that's cool. I spent time with all the pens, but not as much as I wanted, but I did spend about the same amount of time with all of them. So it was very fair. I did not favor any of this month's pens or any of the August pens. So let's just talk about how it went. First up is the Hongdian M2 in the colorway Purple Lilac. This pen has a medium nib and is currently inked with Diamine Tranquility. Now, I expected to enjoy the combination, even though the color isn't really my favorite color. It matches the pen beautifully, and I totally enjoyed it. It was a lovely wet writer, and I had no issues at all with any skipping or hard starting. Not a thing. It was wonderful. When I picked it up, I used it about 2 or 3 days out of the month, and it was wonderful every time. And then when I randomly went and used it after several days, if not over a week, it was good then too. So I totally enjoyed this combination. So, oh, I didn't set up the page. Shame on me. Let's see. We're going over comfort, flow, and visual. Comfort, flow, and visual. Do I need to bring y'all in closer? Oh, this is so great. It's nice and wet. Okay, let me bring you in just a little bit closer. Okay, so that's better. So, comfort of this pen, I don't know. Honestly, it's usually about the same. I guess depends on the day, how I feel about it. It's not my most comfortable size grip section, but it's not horrible. I don't use it for long writing sessions. I use it for like jotting things, for notes, and for my writing sample. And with that, I do about a page-ish of text. So comfort, I will give this a 7.5. Flow was amazing. Oh my goodness, what a lovely combination. I forget this ink is a shimmer ink because I don't know. I don't love the color, but I love when it looks good with the pen it's paired with. And I don't think about the shimmer in it. So maybe I get shimmer, maybe I don't. It's not like an intentional thing. It's just however it goes. And I did get a little shimmer, but not a lot. So the flow was really good. I will give the flow a 9. It was really nice and wet, and there were never any issues. And visually, it was beautiful. It was 10. And this was a good experience each time I used it. I love this pairing. It was wonderful. And I love the color. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. Next up is the TWSBI Diamond 580 ALR in the colorway Punch. This pen has a medium steel nib and is currently inked with Wearingeul 12th Night. Now, this isn't a perfect visual match, but I inked it anyway because I was just curious about the ink and I hadn't used the pen in a while, so I wanted to use the pen. And honestly, I have mixed emotions about it, and it wasn't the visual pairing at all, even though visually, I will just tell you now, visually I give this a 6.5 because I just didn't like the way it looked. And the way it looks is important to me. It may not be important to you the way I care, and that's however you like to pair your pens and inks. You could be totally functional and it doesn't matter, but to me it matters a lot. So the comfort of the TWSBI is as comfortable as my TWSBIs are. They're good for long writing sessions, but not ideal. So my comfort, I will give an 8. It was good. My TWSBIs are usually good. And the flow was the issue because I'm not really sure. Like there was, I don't know if it was because the pen was not used frequently and the time from when I inked it to when I started using it, there was some oxidation. No, there was some evaporation of the ink. So the color was more intense when I would start writing, but once it leveled out, I don't know. I had mixed emotions. I didn't know if I liked what I saw. I don't know. It was not my favorite. So I don't know if the flow was, if it was a me thing or if it really was the flow. I don't know. I need to try this ink in a different pen and see how I like it in something else. And I need to not have so many pens inked when I use it. So the flow, because I didn't enjoy it, and at times I found it a bit hard to read, I'm just going to give the flow a 6.5. Now, I didn't have any trouble with hard starts or skipping or anything like that per se, but in writing, it started out well, but there was some evaporation, so it was darker. But then when it lightened up, I couldn't always read it easily. And when it would first go down the page, I guess on the heavier part of the strokes, it was easier to see, but on the lighter parts, not as much until it would start drying, and then it was easier to see. So I didn't enjoy that. And I don't know if it's pen specific or that's just the way the ink is, but I like the way the ink looks. I just didn't enjoy writing with it in the TWSBI. So I'm going to say is not enjoyable in this pen. Sometimes it was hard to read. And visually less than ideal. I think the thing that most bothered me was that at times the ink was hard to see. And I still would have the visual thing, but because there was not just that, but there was something else, it made it worse. So, but of course, I will reserve my judgment and feelings about the ink for a different pen. I want to try it in at least one other pen, maybe two, and see how I like it, because this wasn't it, but that doesn't mean there isn't a pen out there that would be amazing with the ink. So next up is the Benu Talisman in the colorway Lily of the Incas. I love this pen. I just recently picked it up. It has a fine steel Schmidt nib and is currently inked with Robert Oster Sushi. I love the color. It's such a fun color. It does not perfectly match the pen, but I love the color. It's like one of my favorite kind of colors, kind of like a peachy pink kind of color. And it definitely leans more pink than peach, but it's just pretty. And the flow was really good. Visually, I liked it because I just love the color. I love the nib on the pen. It's a nice wet writer, and I knew it would be. And I wanted to try this pen with a fine Schmidt nib. Did I say it has a fine nib? With a fine Schmidt nib as opposed to a medium, which I have in the other Benu pen that I own. I wanted to see if I would still like it with the finer nib with good flow, and I do. It was so fun. I loved it. We didn't have any problems with drying or hard starting, and visually it was very pretty, and I enjoyed it. And there's pink and orange in the pen, so the ink kind of was adjacent to that. I just enjoyed it. It was a good time. So the comfort of the pen, I will give about an 8. It's not my ideal, but it's not uncomfortable, and I could use it to write a page and not have any issues and not be looking forward to putting it down. The flow was amazing. I will give the flow a 10. It was just really, really good. Even now, oh, it's just so great. And visually I'll give it a 9. If it were a better match, I'd love it even more, but it was still fun. I totally enjoyed writing with this. It was lovely. I would totally do it again. Totally. That's enough of that. Okay, love this. Would do it again. I loved it. It was great. I have no complaints. Unless you want to be nitpicky. But complaints, no, I really don't have those. Next up was an unexpected pairing. Is the Pilot Kakuno in transparent yellow. I think it's transparent yellow. This pen has a medium nib and is currently inked with Wearingeul and a name that's on the screen that I cannot pronounce. I love this pairing. Now, it doesn't match at all. I mean, this is fluorescent, basically. It's just like a fun color. I think this pen is probably marketed toward children because, I mean, it's so fun to look at. But the ink color is definitely, oh, it doesn't go. But it was so wonderful in this pen. I loved it. The comfort of this pen is probably about an 8. It's about the same as the other pens I've been using. I can write a page and not complain. Oh, I think it's almost out of ink. Probably. The flow was really good. I will give the flow a 9. Yeah, we're almost dry, y'all. This was so good. And visually, it was just not it. Visually, it's getting a 6 because they didn't go together. Now, I'm going to write this with another pen. This is going in the cup to be cleaned, or I'll forget about it. It was, oh my goodness. I didn't fill it because I want to try the ink in other pens. I got it as a sample and an ink swap I did, but I love the color. Look at this swatch. That's so pretty. Let me turn on the light because the sun is doing things. And I have light on, but if I let the light in outside, it'll be crazy shadows. So it was really pretty, but it just didn't match at all. But it was great to write with, so I was totally functional with it. So this was an 8. The flow was a 9, and the visual was a 6. It was... The ink was also very well lubricated, as was the Diamine Tranquility and the Robert Oster Sushi. Those all felt really, really good. I totally enjoyed it. It was really great. Oh, let's tamp down the shadows. And next up is my very first Franklin Christoph pen. It's the Franklin Christoph Model 2. This pen has a medium steel nib, and this colorway was an exclusive with Vanness Pen Shop. I love the color. This is like my go-to, and it's currently inked with, I can't say the name, it's on the screen. I don't know. I've used a couple other inks in here that matched well also, but were darker. And because I'd been kind of organizing my inks and my samples and just remembering what I have so I can just spread the love, I remembered this ink. I've had it, oh wow, probably close to 2 years, and I hadn't used it in I don't even know how long. And I said, I bet that's gonna match perfectly, and it does, and I enjoyed it. I did draw up some shimmer, which is fine, but I did not have any problems with any hard starts or any skipping. The flow was still good, but I have to say there was a bit of evaporation, and once in writing, when I got past that evaporation, the ink at times was a little bit hard to read. My eyes kind of had to adjust, but I do not have the best eyesight like that at all. And your experience, I'm sure, would differ than mine if you have reasonably good vision. My vision is reasonably bad. I wear bifocals, so yeah, take that into account. So anywho, this was really, really, really good. Oh, visually, it just made me so happy. Look at that. Look at these together. This was a really good combination. I totally enjoyed it, and I really need to remember to use the ink more. So comfort of this pen, I will give an 8. And I have to say it's not higher because there's, I don't know what to call it. There's a thread here when you cap the pen where the threads are. To me, sometimes it's a little awkward for me and I get it just wrong. And then I have to readjust my grip. And for that reason, I'm only rating this an 8 because I would rate it, I think, a little higher if it weren't for that. But it's something I have to think about every time I use the pen. But it doesn't bother me once I readjust, but I have to make the adjustment, and I wish I didn't. The flow was really good. Did not have any issues. I don't think I got too much shimmer in here, and that may have something to do with it. I don't know. But I'll give the flow an 8.5 because I don't think I got much shimmer to really test the ink with all of its properties. Visually, yeah, it was perfect. It was a 10. I love this pairing. And of course, it's like one of my favorite colors. Visually, this was my happy pairing. And I would pair these again. See, just now I'm having to adjust my grip because of where I'm grabbing the pen and the threads there. But I love the way it writes, and I will just make adjustments and I will just roll with it because that's what I do when I like something. I make the adjustments because the pen is what it is. Next up was a surprise. The TWSBI Eco in the colorway Transparent Blue. I bought this pen because I collect TWSBIs, and I had it for, I'm sure, over a year. This is the first time I've inked it because I would get other TWSBIs that were just calling me, use me more than this, because it's not my favorite shade of blue, but I collect TWSBIs and I want all the colors if I can, so I bought it. Now, that's why the pen had not been used before this month, before August. Anyway, this pen has a stub nib, steel nib, and is inked with Wearingeul Robinson Crusoe. Now, like the pen, it's not my favorite shade of blue, but it has green in it, so that kind of helps. It's really pretty and lovely shading, but just not my favorite shades of blue. I'm more of a teal turquoise kind of girl. But can I tell you, in the pen, this ink and this pen, they were amazing together. The angels sang. It was just like rainbows, everything. It was just really, 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 really good. And I love TWSBI stub nibs, particularly the Eco stubs, but I didn't expect to love it as much as I did. It was just really good. I mean, you saw my writing sample, but look at this. I love a TWSBI stub, and this ink in here was just beautiful. My writing, I haven't really been doing a lot of writing lately, just like short little bits here and there, but not a lot of writing. all of a sudden my writing got better with this pairing. It was like that. It was just so good. And like I said, visually, not my favorite, but performance, yeah, I would do this again. And I am going to write this dry because I loved it that much. I just loved it. I may have to put Robinson Crusoe on my list because that's how good it was in the pen. But I'll try it in at least one other pen before I commit to a bottle. But I love this. I loved it so much. And I think if I had it in a pen that leaned more green, it would pick up on the green in the ink. Yeah, I think so. But I paired it with a blue pen, so there's that. So let's rate it. Oh, comfort, it was typical TWSBI comfort of about an 8. Flow was amazing. I'm going to give the flow of this a 10 because it was wonderful. There was a little bit of evaporation, but there was no hard starting. There was no skipping. There was just good times. Just good times. It was wonderful. And I'm going to write this dry because that's how much I love this, like, not my favorite shade of blue because it was just so good. And I'm going to stop repeating myself. Visually, I don't know. It's mixed emotions. Visually, I'm going to give this an 8. And honestly, I would rate it lower, but it was such a good writing experience. It kind of made up for how I felt about the blue that I just kind of feel like lukewarm about. It was just so good. Ooh, yeah, I'm gushing. Oh gosh, I'm gushing. Okay, gushing. Yeah, I love this. Am I still in the frame? Yep, looks like I am. That was wonderful. Okay, let me move this out of the way. And we're almost done. Next up is another pen I haven't used in forever. It is my my first Pelikan pen, the Pelikan M205 in the colorway Apatite. This pen has a medium steel nib. Did I say M205? Yes, I did. And this pen is currently inked with Wearingeul Wayfarer, one of my absolute most favorite inks ever, ever, ever. I drew up quite a bit of shimmer. And you know what? I let it be. I said, you know what? We're going to see what it does. And let me say, my experience was, it was okay. I won't be doing that again with this particular pen. There's a lot of shimmer in the barrel. And normally I won't pick up that much, but I said, no, I'm going to leave it. We're going to see what it does. Yeah, I don't know. It affected the flow, in my opinion. The comfort of this pen probably is about, it's a little narrow. I would call it like a 7.5. The visually, I love the way it looked. I'll give it an 8.5 visually. But the flow was about a 6. It wasn't horrible, but it was inconsistent. Sometimes it flowed well. Sometimes it was a little gushy. Sometimes it was a little like it was going to stop writing. And like, is it going to keep going? And then it would just keep going. So I'm going to say maybe too much shimmer. And I don't typically try to draw up a lot of shimmer. It's like I like it, but I don't like cleaning it afterwards. So yeah, I won't make that mistake again. And honestly, I think I'm gonna clean this out. Now, I just remembered I have to update my ink journal. So I'm going to put this pen back so I don't forget to do that. I may dip it to fill it in. I don't remember how up to date it is. I want to make sure I keep up with that. Next to last, this was fun. I'm kind of addicted to these, but I think my addiction is cooling off. I mean, I still like them, but I've been doing other things, so thank goodness. Because how many Jinhao 10s do you really need, right? This is Jinhao 10 in Gradient Purple. I love the way the pen looks. Purple is one of my favorite colors. This pen has a fine nib. I could have gotten medium, but I kind of like knowing that when I use these, and they're so convenient, that if I have a fine nib, I can probably write on most of the papers that I use, because I don't always use Tomoe River paper. Some of them are okay with fountain pens, others not so much, but I can get away with more with a fine nib, so that's what I go for with this. Now, the ink in this pen is Pelikan Violet, and can I just tell you, this was a wonderful combination. Now, one thing I noticed in the writing sample, there was some evaporation, even though I did the silicone grease little tip to help to keep it from like hard starting. And it didn't hard start, which was cool. But there was definitely evaporation, and there is a lot of sheen in the first, oh boy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines of writing. It starts to peter out around line 6, and then it's what I expect in the back half of this writing sample. But yeah, there's a lot of sheen. There's a gold sheen in this ink, which you can see in the swatch, if you can see it on the camera. But you don't really see it in writing so much, but it definitely showed up because of the evaporation. But yeah, it didn't hard start, it didn't skip, and I loved writing with it. I will write this dry because that's what I do with the Jinhaos. I picked up another Jinhao sidebar, y'all, because I'm gonna keep black ink in it, and that's just boring. But I picked up this one. It's so pretty, and I keep black permanent ink in it. So yeah, that's very boring. I've already written it dry twice, so that's totally handy. I haven't re-inked it yet. I really should clean it out before I do that. But we're talking about the Jinhao that's purple. Now, let's talk about that. The comfort of this, I will give the comfort about an 8. It's not terrible. The clip is kind of novel to me. And the extra girth of the grip section makes it more comfortable than it would otherwise be. The visual was a 9. I love the way this looks. I love the purple pen with purple ink. Who doesn't love that? And the flow is good. I'm giving the flow a 9 also. It was a very good combination. I will definitely do this one again. We'll pair again. I love this combination. It was very good. Now, as I said, normally, if it were like July, I guess, I would have been reaching for this more, but I've been doing other stuff and not doing much writing, so I reach for it no more than the other pens, which I think is much more fair to the other pens. Not that the pens care, it's just all about me and what I think about it. So I'm not biased, but it was a good combination. And I can say that I didn't have a lot of patience with the poorly performing combinations, because I just wanted the pen to do what it was supposed to. Last up is the Delta Duna and the colorway Regal Skies. This pen was an Atlas Stationers exclusive last year, 2024. This pen has a stub nib and is inked with J Herbin Lie. Now, I think I realized when I got this pen that it probably needed to be tuned and smoothed, but because my knowledge has grown since I got this pen, I recognize that for sure now. I'm like, it needs something is what I thought, but I don't know what, and I'm not going to mess with it. That's where I was at. I said, you know what? I will see a nibsmith one of these days or send it out and have it taken care of. And then I did not use the pen until now, and yeah, definitely it needs some love. It needs a little tuning, and it's in a particular direction when I write that I feel it. Once it's there, there's a fly flying around. I can't stand flies. Once it's been tuned and smooth, I know I'm going to totally enjoy it, because when it was good, it was good. Now this, since it has a stub nib and the flow was really good, I wouldn't just use this on any paper because there was too much ink and it would just bleed and feather and just not be a good time. And I think there was none. There was just shadowing, there's ghosting. But yeah, this was very wet, and this performed best on Tomoe River paper. Fountain pen friendly paper was a mess with this pairing, but it was really good. I love the way these look together. It's just that the pen, the nib needs some love, and I won't hold that against anything because it was good otherwise. Comfort of the pen, it was good. I will give this, I'll give it a 9. I don't know what I would do to make this a 10 grip section. I'm not sure. I'm not going to think hard about it now, but it's not perfect, but you know what? It's good. I like, there's a little bit more girth here than what I usually get in a pen, and I like that. The flow was stellar. The flow gets a 10, and the visual is also a 10. It was very pretty. Lovely combo. Nib, hello, nib needs to be tuned. So once the nib is tuned and smooth, it will be amazing. In the meantime, I don't know if I'm going to use it again until it's given the proper care that it deserves. But at least I know that this pairing was just pretty amazing. Meow. How would I rate this month's pens? I don't know why I put that there. I'll just stick this here. All right, my absolute favorite. Whoa, this hard. I'll say the top 3. Definitely a top 3 was the TWSBI Eco with Wearingeul Robinson Crusoe. Another top 3 was definitely the Hongdian that I'm using now with Diamine Tranquility. And one more, only one more. What did you love writing with? It would be the Benu Talisman, and I'll tell you why. Even though visually it wasn't the ideal pairing, it was the performance of the pen and the ink that put it over the top. I love the color, and it's, for me, a high contrast ink. It's easy to read, whether it's wet or dry, and I totally enjoyed writing with it. The Franklin Christoph with the Dominant Industry ink could have rated higher if it were easier for me to see, but because sometimes it was a little bit dicey, I guess, it's less than ideal. But oh, this ink right here, Sushi, no problems with Sushi. And even though Tranquility is not my favorite color wise, it looks so good with the pen, and it writes it, the flow, it was just wonderful to write with. So I keep using it, even though it's not my favorite. It's one of my favorite inks to write with. Isn't that something? But definitely my favorite of the month was the TWSBI Eco inked with Wearingeul's Robinson Crusoe. So that's it for this month. I need to figure out what I'm going to use in September, because September is here. It is here, and I am behind the times. So I've got to get with it. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.